What's up, guys? Welcome back to Talking Paranormal. I am one of your hosts, Chris Albrecht, and that is the other, Matt Monroe. He's back this week. We're both feeling better, I hope. Matt, you
I
feeling
feel
better?
I feel alive again, and it's refreshing.
Nice, nice. I do too, man. You were missed last week. It was a fun episode. How much did you catch all of it?
I watched all of it, man. I thought you did a great job. I
Thank you.
I mean, you have quite a bit more experience than I do in the podcasting realm, so you did great.
Yeah, it's a little tougher when you don't have somebody with you to bounce ideas off of. So had to wing it, but we got through it. Um, what did you think about a couple of those videos?
Man, I really enjoyed them, and I can't wait to give my thoughts on them. I purposely did not go back and watch again, so I can give a little bit more of a real take.
Okay. Um, I don't. I didn't load all of them. I don't know how many I loaded. I thought I loaded two really good ones. I could be wrong though. If I didn't load them, we'll if they're not in this load up here, then because I know I didn't. I wouldn't have pulled all of them. I would have only pulled one or two, and I'm not sure if this is one of them and that's one of them or not. Um, Whatever the case, uh, we'll revisit that episode again um, with some of the more compelling videos. But we do have a string of videos today, about six of them, that I think are quite compelling. I know that on one or two of the other ones, we had some issues with some of the music that was being played. So that's why I didn't put them up this week because I need to edit them so that we can get that taken off of there. So full disclosure there. Um, but this week we are going to be talking about aliens and UFOs again because I think it's a really compelling subject. And I know Matt's got a lot of thoughts on that. And of course, we want to get his take on it as well. And then we'll revisit my take a little bit. But I guess I guess we can just go ahead and ask the main question that I want to know, Matt. Do you think we are alone in the universe?
I think it's very arrogant to think that we are alone.
Yeah, right.
I mean, all these infinite planets and stars that are suns and everything else, and we're the only rock that had any kind of life on it. Sure, okay.
How
I mean,
crazy how crazy would it be if that was the case though, right?
it'd be. I would if somehow in the distant future we found out that we were it, and I had a way to find that out. I'd be like, all right, I was wrong. 2022 Matt was a dumbass.
uh yeah, man, have you ever seen so I watched this the other day and I thought it was complete BS, but the ideas in it were kind of compelling. There's a few videos, there's part 1, 2 and 3 of an interview with an EBE, an extraterrestrial biological entity, that was supposedly captured in 1964, and the government was basically interrogating this alien um, that they referred to as EBE 3, which, if there's an EBE 3, there's got to be a 1 and 2, right? Well, they're interrogating this alien, and they're asking him questions like, who created the universe and things like that. And the alien had some really compelling answers, basically saying that nobody created the universe because, in the Bible, it says we were created from nothing. There
Yeah.
was nothing, and God said, boom, let there be light, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Well, this alien says it's impossible that there is nothing because nothing doesn't exist. So the universe, basically, what he said was that the universe has always existed. And like my mind kind of was like, that's interesting because, yeah, right. you know, and he was saying that there's multiple universes upon universe. It's an infinite number of universes, and it just so happens that some of them contain the properties that would host life, and we just happen to be super lucky, which is a
Is this the
crazy thought.
one where he said he was like basically from the future too?
Yes, he
And
said he was a descendant of us after,
yeah,
and it's a fake. It's fake, 100% fake. But it just had some interesting ideas because basically what this alien was saying was that he was from the future and that we can't comprehend, you know, the idea of the universe and what it really is. And he was talking about death and how there really is no death, and how we basically come to our own destruction, basically due to political and religious dogma, which I
Yeah.
thought was interesting because most wars are because of political and religious dogma. And he said that a small number of human beings survived this nuclear annihilation, and that's how his species was basically created, was through the survivors. Um, Totally mind-boggling. I knew it was BS, but some of the ideas I was like, wow, they really went into this.
Oh yeah, I definitely some of the theories and stuff that they put forth in that video were just amazing. Um, I hadn't really seen anything thinking outside the box like that in a long time.
Yeah, it really made me think about concept of God, and because I don't know what to believe. I believe that there is some sort of higher power.
Yeah,
Um, I just don't know. I really do think that the bottom line is that us as humans, we have too feeble of minds, and there is no possible way that we could comprehend the concept of what God actually is. I really don't think we have that. I think too many people think he's a guy in a white robe with a long white beard, you know, saying like "Thou shalt not kill" and stuff like that. I don't. I think it's way bigger than that. I think it is impossible for us to comprehend.
agreed. I
You
will
know,
agree with you there.
if if we are alone, Matt Z, I agree with what he says here. Matt Z's in the chat from YouTube, and he says if we were the only ones, we were in trouble. I agree. uh, I don't know if I feel comfortable being the only living being in the universe. That's insane. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think
Um,
so either.
it's just, gosh, you could go down so many rabbit holes when you talk about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I mean, there are tons. There's so many rabbit holes that you can't even try. That we can't even hope to cover all of them, no matter how
Yeah.
long we do this show.
No, no. It's just an interesting thought. The sheer vastness of space. When you really think about how small Earth is compared to everything else,
Yeah,
you know, we have a solar system outside of, we have Earth in the solar system. Outside of that solar system, the Milky Way galaxy. Outside of that solar system, or outside of that galaxy, there's billions upon. We can't even. I don't think you can put a number on how it's infinite, right? I
yeah,
mean, and
and
if it's
it's
not infinite,
growing,
yeah,
and it's
and if
growing.
that's the crazy concept. It's like it's growing. I mean, if it's infinite, there is no end. There is no wall at the end of the universe. It goes on and on, which, we've heard this many times on different podcasts and things. It's like with infinite, with an infinite universe comes infinite possibilities, which means there's another universe with you and me sitting here, and you're named Chris and I'm named Matt. You know what I mean? And
Right?
I live in
Yeah.
Arkansas and you live in the Seattle area. So, man, just it's insane, dude. Um,
I
but
mean, it's.
right?
I believe in the infinite universe theory. I do.
Mm,
I believe in parallel. If I could talk today, parallel dimensions.
sure.
I believe I'm a huge champion of time is happening all at once and it's not linear. That ghost story I told you the last show I was on,
Yeah.
where the old lady saw three ghosts while she was sitting in her chair,
Yeah.
and then fast forward like 20 years, and her grandson's three friends see his grandma sitting in her chair. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's just all happening at once, and it just kind of overlaps, and sometimes you get a glimpse.
Yeah. That's just, we have a, I believe it's on here. We'll have to check later, but one of the videos that you shared with me was very interesting. These people messing with, dimensions and stuff. It's like, hey, leave it alone. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Leave
right.
it the hell alone.
Like
Don't touch
I mean, I don't know why people, and I'm gonna put it out there. I don't know why white people got to screw with this stuff, man. I
it.
don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. It's just, oh man. How cocky are we as a civilization? You know
dude.
what I mean?
I'm telling you
We are
right
the
now,
cockiest creatures ever.
if there is something that looks dangerous, a white woman's gonna want to pet it. So I mean, it's a guarantee, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you 100%, man. Um,
It's the Steve Irwin effect. It's like, oh crikey,
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to touch it.
man. It'll get you. Eventually, it'll get you. Oh, well, with the possibilities, I've got some more questions, and I think we should uh, get to those after some of these videos. I've got a couple mixed in videos that I thought were interesting, some that you sent me and some that I chose myself. Let's just get into it. Let's get into it right now. Most of these are pretty short. There are a couple that are longer, like there's one 2 minute one and one that goes about 3.5 minutes. Very compelling videos. Let's start with the smaller ones here.
Okay.
This is a UFO video. Check this out, dude. And that came from the TikTok UAP underscore repository.
Okay.
Um, Very interesting video. You're apparently in a commercial airliner and you see what appears to be a silver ball flying the opposite direction. Now, there are a couple things that bother me in the video. One is actually, I guess it's just the main thing that bothers me is the weird glitches around this thing, this object as it's moving through the frame. I don't know if that's an artifact. I don't know if that's glitches because of how these things travel through time and space. I don't know. Well, it just looked a little shady to me, so I want to get your take
I,
on it.
I think the glitches can be attributed to the fact that digital zoom, no matter how much our technology is improved, digital zoom still sucks.
Yeah,
Um, so I will chalk the glitches up to the digital zoom trying to focus and keep that image in it. Because even the clouds looked a little glitchy.
yeah,
Um, so I'm gonna chalk that up to digital zoom. It looked more like a smaller aircraft. It didn't look like a commercial airliner. It looked more like a
okay,
personal aircraft.
okay. We'll have to take a look at that again. You could be right. I'm not very familiar with. I guess the control panel did look a little smaller than it would in a commercial airliner,
Yeah, I mean it could. I mean it could be just a smaller commercial flight, but it did look like more of a personal airplane.
like a Learjet or something. It is flying at altitude because it is above the clouds,
Yeah,
so we know it's got to be 30,000 plus feet in the air. And this other object, it does not have wings. It
it's kind of
I
skimming along the cloud line.
Yeah, and it's a silver sphere. No
Yeah,
lights. Not that you'd be able to see them in this sunshine anyway, but it's just very compelling. And ever since the government started saying, hey, okay, so we don't call them UFOs, we call them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
yeah.
And they started saying that we've been tracking this stuff. And they start admitting this stuff. That's when I get sketched out. I'm like, okay, so first you're saying it's all BS, you know, and
They
it's
spend
all.
like how many 60 years denying anything,
I got
and then
questions, man.
all of a sudden COVID hits, and they're like, "Yep, they're real.
Yeah, yeah,
They are out there, and we have here's the Pentagon documents.
yeah.
Carry on. Look at that.
It's it boggles my mind. Let's watch this video again. Let's take
Yeah,
another look at this thing. So we have a silver orb, a silver ball sphere, a silver sphere flying in the opposite direction, and it doesn't. I mean, if they're traveling in an airliner, they're going 300 plus miles an hour, and this thing's flying the opposite direction. It doesn't look like it's flying that fast. if
yeah.
if you're considering that thing coming at you at God knows how fast, and your airliner going the opposite direction, you'd think it would be hauling ass. You know what I mean? So that's another thing, to be able to fly through the sky that slow, that high is very interesting. Let's take a look again.
I don't know, man.
It's hard to tell.
That one's hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chalk it up to I can't debunk it, but I'm not gonna say it's legit either.
You know what's interesting though? It is in Spanish, and I have seen a lot of interesting videos of objects in the sky from south of the border, Central America, South America. They seem to be a little bit more open about the subject and a little bit more willing to show their stuff.
Well, the thing I will say about this is, despite the belief that we are one of the most free countries in the world, we are one of the most heavily censored countries in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, there's people that could be putting the videos out there, and it's getting squashed before it gets a chance to get anywhere. And then also, everybody's in this country so wanting to be in line with everybody else that even if they do believe, they're going to say, "Ah, it's fake," and then you know what I mean. The video doesn't get any traction.
Yeah,
Whereas, like I was saying in one of our previous episodes, these not necessarily third world countries, but countries outside the U.S., they are more open about this stuff, like you were just saying, and so everything gets a bit more traction. That's why some of the most compelling videos you'll ever get are from countries outside the United States.
yeah, absolutely. And I think on the last episode I mentioned that Canada is going to share their files with the United States,
Dope.
which goes to show that governments aren't willing to share right away. So what do these
No,
other governments know? That maybe they're trying to feed us information, and our government's like, no, 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 we're not going to let that get into our media, not
no,
today.
they won't. And
you know,
I mean, and that's the thing. Like we get we get shown what we're allowed to be shown. We don't get free information. Like if you're gonna get free information, you you're doing some digging, and it's not free.
yeah, no, 100%. Um, Aaron from Australia, he's definitely agreeing with you, and I agree with you too. We are the most secretive country ever, man. Yeah, he's right. Even Russia does show the weird stuff, and nothing crazy military wise, but um, oh, okay. So Aaron brings up from last week the Chinese airport video. Did you see that one?
I'm guessing I didn't. I don't remember that one.
Okay, so it was played on U.S. media, and they said that there was a UFO flying over some airport, or it was hovering above an airport in China, and they shut the airport down. And one thing I was saying was that's crazy because we never heard of any type of military action, happening. In the United
Yeah,
States, I imagine if a UFO shut down an airport, they'd be, scrambling jets,
yeah.
scrambling jets
Okay,
over
I
there.
did hear about this. Actually, I did hear about it. You're right. Um, but yeah, no, you are 100% correct. Like we'd be. Well, you know what, man? I don't know. I can't say they would scramble jets.
That might put us into a panic. Or like my thing was, okay, there's a couple of reasons why they wouldn't. One, maybe they know enough about these things to know, okay, we don't engage because they will blow us out of the sky.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because we have heard accounts of these crafts being seen over military installations, nuclear missile silos or nuclear missile sites, and shutting down our systems. That's insane. So the big question has always been, is our national security at risk with these things in the sky? So I think there's a lot of secrecy surrounding that because of that. If we found out that there was these things in the sky that we had no control over, we couldn't control, then we couldn't even see them coming, on our radar. They're just boom there. Like that's scary, dude. you
well, I
know,
mean, we can say it's scary, but I mean, when you think about it, um, Google has satellites that can zoom in on your house,
it's true.
and that's a non-military grade camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like, and there's so many satellites up there that it looks like a junkyard around the planet, with all these satellites just zooming around. So I mean, we can say sure, national security could be at risk if one of these things just popped up and started firing lasers and whatnot or whatever they use. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
at the same time, man, I mean, other countries can watch me walk out in my backyard without even trying. So it's
let me let me ask you this: do you trust Elon Musk?
Man, he's either Iron Man or a Bond villain, and I think he's a combination of the two.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, I'm on the fence, man. I don't know if I trust that guy. Don't know if I trust him.
He's he's operating from a position of fu
Yeah,
100%
100%.
because the whole reason he made SpaceX was because a Russian rocket designer pissed him off.
Well, you have you heard that he doesn't believe aliens exist? Like
I
they
haven't
haven't
heard.
visited us or anything.
I have not heard that.
Okay. So when he says that, I believe he said it on Joe Rogan. I could be wrong. I could have misinterpreted what he said. But if he says that he believes that there are no alien presences on Earth, or that there isn't an alien presence on Earth, then I would always think that if you're shooting rockets up into the sky, and doing all the crazy stuff he's doing, you have to be involved. The government's got to have their hand in it, some way, shape, or form. And
I
if
mean,
they know,
imagine.
right, and if they know these things exist, why wouldn't they say, "Hey, Elon, here's some," So does he know, and just won't admit it, or does he not know anything? Has the government not told him anything? Yeah,
So, from the statement that you just said, if that's how he said it, I take it to be that he believes there are aliens, but they do not have a presence on the planet.
yeah. Semantics mean a lot.
Yeah,
I would have to go
uh,
back and find the footage, but
I do
I
remember there
was
was a lot of
surprised.
weed in that episode.
He did smoke a joint. He
Yeah,
did take. I don't
I
know
mean
if
that
he
was a
inhaled, but
dude.
he.
That was a big joint. I'm just saying. Um, but
Oh,
I mean, like it comes back to the theory of Antarctica. I think it's Antarctica. It's one of the Arctic circles. I think it's Antarctica. Like nobody's allowed there.
yeah, that's sketchy, dude. That's sketchy.
Like World War II era, all the countries in the world were like, yeah, nobody needs to come up here. So they locked it down. Like you get to go like 5 miles in, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Like it's been since World War II that anybody's officially been to the center of Antarctica,
yeah. It's there's some. I got questions.
right? There's got to be questions. I mean, and it's like the Antarctic Treaty or something like that. But like, why? What was the need for that? You know what I
you
mean?
know, you know that there are theories that the Earth is flat, and they say that you can't go to Antarctica because, as it turns out, it's an ice wall, or it actually will lead you to the rest of the terrain that we don't know about on this plane, this flat plane that is the Earth.
And then there's some people that say it's the entrance to the center Earth, the
Yes,
inner
right?
Earth.
Hollow Earth. Man,
Yep, Hollow Earth theory, my dude.
we got some topics to cover on this show,
I
dude.
I am I am all in on Hollow Earth theory. It would explain so much shit.
No, oh man, could you imagine if that was true and the aliens were actually coming from inside our Earth?
Well, what was? I mean, man, interdimensional beings, dude. They could just have a portal down there, like Stargate. Like, I'm a firm believer that Hollywood, some of the storylines that Hollywood releases, is truth, and the U.S. government feeds them these scripts in the movie, and to make it so that we're like, oh, it's just a movie. There's no way it could be real. You just watched one too many movies. You're just a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the Godzilla versus Kong, that was a good movie. I like that one.
Ooh, yeah,
That
yeah.
was a good
That
one.
um.
How about the guy had a podcast, right? A conspiracy podcast. Oh man.
So, um, one of my things is you can't. Some of the scariest words you can ever hear, and this is a direct quote, um, or a butchered quote, I should say. But some of the scariest words you can hear is "I'm from the government. I'm here to help."
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, I trust you, sir.
Yeah, like, oh, nope. Um, I swear to God, if I go missing, I want everyone to know I love myself. I love my family. Um,
Oh,
I'm not depressed in any way, shape, or form. Uh, right. Well, I mean, I'm not saying like people aren't there, but they're not allowed to go past a certain point.
from what I understand, they are not. I understand that many countries have outposts on Antarctica, and they do research and stuff. But I think there's I think there's a point of, okay, you can't pass this line right here.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's a point of no going. Period.
and I wonder how much government oversight is involved in any expeditions or research projects going on in Antarctica.
Tons.
There would have to be, I would imagine. One thing that trips me out is NASA was, from what I understand, they were really studying the ocean, and then all of a sudden they just stopped and said, oh, "Okay, we're going back to do space stuff."
Okay, so I've heard this,
I got questions.
and from everything I've looked into, NASA was never really that into the ocean. That was a conspiracy theory.
Okay, all right.
Now that being said, I couldn't have read different stuff than you read, and NASA could have really been down there. And holy shit, who knows?
I mean, we've sent, you know, what are the two satellites we sent? Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. We've sent them to the far reaches of the galaxy, and or at least the solar system. Um, but we don't know anything about our, oceans really. We
Oh,
haven't.
we know next to nothing about our oceans.
Yeah.
Like they just discovered that there's actually a like false bed in certain parts of the ocean,
What?
and it fluctuates. Um,
Wow.
so there's actually like a whole ecosystem where we thought the floor was, because sonar and stuff couldn't penetrate it. Where we thought the floor was, they've actually discovered that there's a whole other ecosystem below it.
So, like in the movie The Meg.
Yep,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh,
that just fuels people believing the megalodon's still out there.
I am not nearly high enough to do this show.
Welcome to Thunderdome, my man.
Matt and I are both sober, and sometimes you wonder about these subjects. You're like, God, I'm gonna need some sort of substance to get me through this because this is crazy stuff. But let's get back into some videos, dude. Before,
Yeah.
before we get too
Oh,
crazy here.
hold on a second. Peckerwood brought up a good point. He brought up Atlantis.
Yeah, there could be an.
Okay, so I believe that humankind has achieved multiple advanced civilizations,
Agree.
and then they always manage to F it up and eradicate themselves, and we start over.
Yeah, I have questions about that. I wonder if we eradicate ourselves or if possibly somebody pulls the plug, says, "All right, they're getting a little too big for their britches," or
It's
if
possible.
Earth, or if Earth just wipes us out every once in a while with a cataclysm.
It could. I mean, the
I
Earth
do,
is a living thing.
I do believe in the Great Flood. I think that is a biblical story that is true. I think that there was a giant flood. I don't know if there was a guy named Noah that had two of every species.
Yeah.
um, you
Well,
know,
who's to say Noah's Ark was actually a wooden boat?
who's to say it wasn't a spaceship with DNA, right?
Oh my god,
Oh man.
we're gonna have fun with this.
Oh, gosh, yeah, we'll have to do a Noah's Ark episode or something with some
Well, I mean,
theories.
there is evidence that supports the Great Flood. There is scientific,
Oh yeah,
concrete evidence that supports it.
100% it happened. 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Videos.
I will say this though, because Aaron did bring up Atlantis and saying that there's an alien base on Antarctica. There could be. I mean, if there was, could you imagine if there was an alien base and they just said, "Hey, U.S. government, we're doing some stuff here, and if you don't want us to destroy you, you'll leave us alone
Lock
and
it
let us
down.
do our thing." Okay? Um, yeah,
Well, I mean,
we've heard some crazy theories about the U.S. government having a treaty with these things. So
true story. So, have you heard about the Egypt stuff found in the Grand Canyon?
yes, yes, yeah, I've heard of Egyptian artifacts found in the Grand Canyon, which
Not just the artifacts, like full blown
mummies
holy
and stuff.
sites. Yeah.
Whoa,
Well, not mummies, but like holy sites with like actual deity statues and everything
really?
in the Grand Canyon in the middle of the United States.
And this has been proven.
Yep.
Wow. See, and that goes to my other theory that I really do think that there was a huge global cataclysm, whether it was an asteroidal impact, or if it had to do with the flood. But I do believe that the Earth was one continent at one point, Pangea,
Oh yeah.
and that would explain, so much of, the ancient sites being so similar and having similar you know,
Legends.
legends, artwork, statues, things like that. If there was a global cataclysm, like a massive cataclysm, like what if an asteroid hit and triggered like all the volcanoes and all the tectonic plates to just go crazy, separate the Earth, and it happened almost instantaneously, like not instantaneously, but like in the grand scheme of
Right.
life, on this planet. Because
One
I
of my
so many
one of
questions.
my favorite theories is in the Bible. It talks about it took God 7 days.
Hmm.
7 of his days could be
Yeah,
millions of years for us.
yeah, 100%.
And then I also maintain that I believe dinosaurs and mankind coexisted at a small point in history.
Yeah,
Um, I still believe that there is so much of this world that we're not told is out there,
sure.
and that there's still in the wildest places there are still prehistoric creatures thriving. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about this episode, but we will visit that soon.
Oh, we absolutely 100% will visit that. All right, videos for real this time.
Yep.
All right, this next video, I believe, is another unidentified object flying in our skies. Let's check it out.
Ahí está bajando. Baja, baja y ahora se desapareció. Bueno, algo creo que quedó grabado. Zoom. Ahí está bajando. Baja, baja y... Baja, baja y ahora se... Baja, baja y ahora se...
Another foreign video.
Yep.
Sounded Spanish or Italian. I couldn't really tell. I'm
Judging by the
horrible.
architecture, I'd go Italian.
Okay. Interesting video. Uh, there is some sort of building in it, and you have a slight shot of the building and a blue sky with an object that seemingly vanishes into thin air. But there is an artifact in the video when it vanishes. Did you see that? Where it goes, pink, and it kind of like it had a little something. I don't know. It's
So
weird.
what I saw was where it like sucked in on itself before it disappeared.
Oh,
Is what I saw. Um, which what we're led to believe about something. I mean, granted, basically, I'm going off of movies on this theory, but like everything you see or we have seen that represents that kind of travel, it it's moving so fast that you can't comprehend what's going on, and it all kind of shrinks in on itself and elongates a little bit. Like so, the fact that it drew in on itself as it disappeared, I mean, it really fits with that kind of theory.
it to me, it looked like it dematerialized. It really looked like it just said and just glitched out of our existence.
Like, did you know the what was the name of that plane? The Blackbird. I can't think of
The
like the
SR-71.
yeah.
Okay.
Did you know that they had to build that jet loose? So when it's cruising around on the tarmac, it's actually rattling
I heard that somewhere.
because when it actually got up to its full speed, it was going so fast that it elongated itself and snugged everything up. But if they didn't build it loose, it would literally rip itself apart when it got up to speed.
Wow, that is crazy. Um,
So I mean that holds up. But you're right, it did kind of like dematerialize, but to me it looked like it kind of drew in on itself and then disappeared.
and what's interesting about some of these objects that we see, they're spherical, and you can't really see. I mean, obviously they're far away, but as far as how we conventionally build aircraft, I've never heard
Yeah.
of anybody saying, even people that have been aboard allegedly crafts, they've never said they've seen rivets, welds, things like that. So it definitely is. It's interesting, man. It is very interesting. So many questions. Um, so I thought that video was interesting. I really wanted to see what your thoughts were on it just disappearing like that. Because
Can, can, can we
you
do it
want
one
to
more
watch it?
time?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
let's
want to
watch
watch
it
it
again.
again.
Of course.
Ahí está bajando. Baja, baja y ahora se desapareció. Bueno, algo creo que quedó grabado. Zoom, ahí está bajando. Baja, baja y... Baja, yes. Baja, yes.
So you see what I'm talking about? It
Yeah.
draws itself into like a singular point and then it's gone. So I mean, the fact that
Crazy.
she kind of laughed, it kind of the fact she
Yeah.
giggled, kind of got me a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, man, compressed space would make a lot of sense. Like, I don't know, it's pretty wild. I mean, interdimensional travel. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
100%. I
I
don't
mean,
think I've never seen anything travel interdimensionally. So for all we know, they dematerialize right in front of our face. They just vanish right in front of our face. Uh, until they do some scientific studies, which I hope they don't, because they need to stop messing with that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Uh, it's it's tough, and you hear about objects in the sky disappearing. It's what can you do? I
Do you want to hear
so
my
many, so
story?
many questions. Yes, I do.
Okay. So I was eventually someone's gonna call BS on me since I have so many stories. Um, so I was a little kid. I mean, I think I was middle school age, and did what all kids that age want to do: camped out in the backyard.
Okay.
So about 11:30, 12 a.m. My dog tore up the tent, and I was getting out of the tent to go back inside, and I just kind of looked up, and as I looked up, I saw a really bright spot, and when I looked at it, and I'm not saying me looking at it, just I coincidentally saw it,
Mm,
but it zigzagged, leaving a trail,
okay.
and then shot off.
No conventional aircraft that I know of can do those maneuvers.
And that really stuck with me. And then another thing that stuck with me that I don't want to say was paranormal, but I don't want to say it was an alien either, because I'm not sure. But it was a dream from almost 20 years ago now, and I still remember it clearly. So I'm thinking it was a little bit more than a dream. Um, I was living on a dairy farm with my girlfriend at the time, and we lived by ourselves in one of the rental houses her stepdad had on the property. And I don't know what time it was, but I woke up at one point and a large white thing with a crazy face was kind of wandering into the room, and it looked at me. I looked at it. Next thing I know, it's the next morning.
I hate creepy dreams.
Man, so I can't say it was a dream. I can't say it was an actual experience because I just don't know. But
Yeah.
for me to remember it almost 20 years later, it tells me it was a little bit more than a dream.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff. I've heard that when you're super young, you're not supposed to remember things, but I think I have a dream that I remember. It has nothing to do with paranormal or anything. It's just an interesting dream that I believe happened when I was about 3 years old. And from what I understand, you're not supposed to be able to remember that kind of stuff, but I feel like I do. I don't know. It's interesting. But dreams, I think there needs to be some more science, some studies about dreams, because I think that there's something to dreams too that is very mysterious, very mysterious.
I believe dreams are sometimes are you getting a glimpse of from another you.
I mean,
Um,
that other me is living a hell of a life. I'll tell you that.
I mean, who knows? It could be that decision. It could be they could be living that decision that we didn't do,
Sure.
and it led to something great. I also believe that sometimes dreams are the glimpse into that timeline where you're not. Because I mean, it's all like I said. I think it's all happening at the same time. So sometimes your dream it bleeds over and you get a glimpse, and that's where deja vu comes from.
Deja vu is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I've
I've
had
had
some deja vu where I was like, "What the? No way, no
like, and
way."
it was action for action.
Yeah, and I'm like, 100%. I've been here. 100%. I saw this vision. I don't know where I saw it. but I've been in this exact place, this exact moment, and that person did that, that person did that, and I did this. And
Yep.
it's exactly how it went down. Too crazy. The mind is a very powerful thing, and I don't know. when we get when we get more involved in topics like that, with I really want to explore near death experiences in life after death.
Okay.
I want to talk to some people. I'm going to reach out once we get to that point. I'm going to reach out to some people because I've heard some crazy stories, and I want to hear somebody tell me about them and their experience. Um, Very interesting. Matt Z from YouTube says in the 60s, over 80% of Americans had religious affiliations. In the early 2000s, religion has dropped to half, half of that, and I'm sure we'll begin to see much. Um, it, when people's minds start opening to other possibilities, like I say, I'm not religious, but I do believe in a higher power. Um, I would like to at some point explore how many of these prophets, the Prophet Muhammad, Jesus Christ, like there's a lot of similar stories. Like I almost fell for the Zeitgeist movie a long time ago when I saw that at first. I was like, this is interesting stuff. I don't When I see things that are super compelling, I never take them as fact. I always just load them up into my hard drive with all the rest of the crazy kooky stuff I've thought about and kind of just let it simmer, you know.
Have you heard the theory that God was Loki who survived Ragnarok?
No.
Yeah. And like the Leviathan was the world snake, and like Loki was just messing with mortals and telling an absolute crazy story.
It- I've heard a theory that God is actually the devil and he's fooling us. I gotta find the guy on YouTube again. His name, it was super dark. He's super pale. Like I almost think he was an albino. Super blonde hair. I guess he was on some TV show, some reality show called something about circus freaks. And now he's got this YouTube channel, and he was going off about how the Statue of Liberty is actually Lucifer. And some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, I mean, I could see it being interpreted like that, but that's the problem is you can interpret it, you can interpret anything, any way,
Oh yeah.
So it was definitely interesting when he said God was the devil, and I was like, let me listen to this BS, because I'm not religious, but like when I hear that kind of thing, I'm like, all right, let me see where this guy's come from,
Like,
because
oh,
that's
we're out there now. Um, yeah, I mean that's just a newer theory I've heard, and I thought that one was pretty interesting. So I'm gonna do a bit more digging on it before I bring it fully to the table.
yeah, me too. Let's get back into these videos. I got
Yeah.
here's a this one's interesting because I've always questioned, when you talk about like Roswell, for instance, a UFO crashes. Okay, so I'm like, if these things can travel through space and time, travel these crazy distances, and have this technology, you'd think they'd be able to not crash. You know what I mean? Or if you make it all the way to Earth and you crash here. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? Did our did our military really take these things down? Um,
I think Roswell was a test flight and
you
something
think so?
crashed. I think so.
Think it was one of ours and we screwed up.
I think so. I think we were test flying something, and in order to cover up the thing that we had that kind of technology, they go, "Yep, it was aliens."
Actually, it was a weather balloon. That's
Yeah,
actually a great. We'll say it was aliens, then we'll say it was a weather balloon, and they'll be so focused on that they won't even think it was actually us.
yeah.
Man, check this video out, dude. This is crazy. This is a video allegedly of a flying disc crashing. I thought it was a cool video. So let's check it out. again, UAP underscore repository from TikTok. Again, shot on a potato. This was an Idaho video. It's
Pure Idaho.
pure Idaho.
Um, man, I'm calling remote control.
Yeah,
The, I mean, now granted, I don't know what kind of fuel these things are running on, but you'd think there'd be a little bit bigger explosion than just those few sparks. And even then, they, with a crash that's supposedly that violent, they didn't even go higher than the light pole.
that's true. That's very true.
Um, and then also when it hits the first time, you can see propulsion from underneath pushing dirt and stuff. So it had propulsion pushing it upwards. You could definitely see that. But man, I'm calling remote control.
Remote control. Interesting. I was kind of leaning towards one of ours. Experiment an experiment gone wrong. You know what I mean? Um if I saw what some of these people see, like for instance, if I saw this video, if I was the one shooting this video of this craft crash landing, hopping up, and then crash landing again and exploding, I would probably, as much as I'd want to go over there and look at it, man, too many questions. Yeah, I'm not a white guy. Like, you guys would be right over there. Like me, I'd be like, don't know if I trust that. If it's aliens, I'm good with that. If it's the U.S. government, I'm almost more scared of that than aliens. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you'd be erased.
Yeah, man. Uh, Definitely interesting. I saw a video that was pretty compelling. It was supposedly of Area 51, and there was a blue glow from what appeared to be their airfield. And at one point, this blue glow basically shoots up into the sky. And I was just thinking to myself, and I saw this in the comments as well. God knows what kind of drone action we got going on right now. You know, um, I would lean to say that I don't really trust anything that I see up in the sky. I can't look at something in the sky and go, "That's definitely aliens," because I
Well, I
don't.
mean,
God, I just don't trust our government. I think they got stuff that we don't know about.
Walmart Walmart has drones that deliver to your house now.
Yeah,
They're testing the technology here. But yeah, like literally, you could do a small grocery order or like something like that, and a drone will launch from one of their neighborhood markets, loaded with a box, and it will airdrop your package at your address, and then fly back to the store, catch itself on a cable, and get reloaded for something else. Amazon's working on drone delivery technology. Yeah, I mean,
I
no. Have you ever seen one of those drone shows? One of
no.
the drone light shows?
Oh, yes, yes. So yeah, like on the Super Bowl and stuff where they go
Yeah.
up in the sky. Yeah. Yeah, they can do some stuff. Like they
Oh
could
yeah.
fool us very easily with an alien invasion if they wanted to.
Oh, 1000%.
100%. Yeah, 1,000%. I did see, so by trade, I'm a garbage man, right? And I'm driving on one of my routes and I see this robot, this Amazon robot driving on the sidewalk. And I'm just like, part of me wanted to run it over just to see what would happen. Like, it was super creepy to me. I don't know. There's just something about it that creeped me out.
Am I the only one that thinks Siri, just in case the robot uprising happens, and she'll be like, no, this guy's cool.
Man, I should stop calling her names and stuff. I should be
I'm
nicer
just
to
saying, I mean, who better to stick up for you than the thing you carry in your pocket?
her, right? He's actually a good guy.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, he
actually
does he does some questionable stuff sometimes, but he's pretty much a good guy.
like,
Leave him alone.
yeah, like this guy's cool. He thanks me for my services.
um. All right, so we'll call the last video BS. I kind of felt it was a little BS, but it was interesting.
It is an
Um,
interesting video. It really is. But I mean, man, there for something that was going so fast to scale, man, there just wasn't a lot of carnage for something hidden that hard.
yeah. Um. In the video, it's a really grainy video, and it's basically a white disc, and you can't see much of anything except for this white fuzzy disc. Because it's so grainy, you can't really get a good shape to it aside from its general shape, but you can't see any anything metallic or anything like that.
Yeah.
You see some sparks on its last, because it's like skipping across the ground, kind of. It reminds
Yeah.
like if you skipped a rock across a lake. Um, I, I I played it because I thought it would bring up the question: do you believe that if a craft from outside of our civilization, if an alien craft came into our skies, if we have the technology to bring it down, do you think we can bring down an alien craft?
No.
You do not believe that if an alien craft entered our airspace, that the U.S. government could take it down.
Based off what I know about our technology at hand, no. Now, could they have something that they definitely haven't told us about? 100% absolutely. Um, my thing of it is have you heard the theory from why we never went back to the moon?
I've heard that we were told not to go back.
Well, I mean, there's that one too, but there's also the we do not have the proper shielding or technology to protect ourselves from the radiation that exists out there.
I've heard that.
And that the highest we've actually ever gone is upper stratosphere, which is still within the protective range of
Yeah.
the planet's atmosphere.
You're talking about us not being able to um, go through the Van Allen radiation belt, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've also heard that we have the abilities, but then you think about, okay, what kind of protections do we have coming back through? Because you got film and stuff that we supposedly took up there, and this is technology from 1969. How would it possibly survive? And not to mention the fact that when we go, well, let's go back, and they go, oh, well, we destroyed the technology to take us to the moon. Oh, you destroyed it. You said, oh, this is how we got to the moon. This is how we beat Russia. And let's go ahead and destroy
Yep.
it. I don't know. Let me ask you this, Matt. Flat out. We're going to talk about this on another show. But I want to know, do you think we went to the moon?
No.
Okay.
As
God,
much as
see,
I want to believe it, man, I
I
don't
want to.
think we did.
Yeah, the dark side of the moon. Matt Z from YouTube brings it up. Yes, I have questions about the dark side of the moon. I do. I just don't. And flat earthers, because I've done some research on flat Earth because it was so compelling to me because it was so ludicrous.
I mean,
Some
they
of
just prove their own theories.
the it,
They just prove themselves all the time with
but
like
then
their little flashlight experiments with the cardboard boxes and the holes. I mean, they disprove themselves all the time. It's
what's interesting to me is some of their theories about NASA, because they really go hard at NASA.
yeah,
And one thing that really got me in was more of some of the evidence that they've shown that NASA has faked pictures and videos, of supposedly people in space on the International Space Station. Um, why would NASA fake that stuff other than we haven't been into space? So because they're so kooky, with their theories, and I'm going to believe you me, I'm going to do whatever I can to get a flat earther on this show, and I'm going to tell him I don't believe the earth is flat. He's probably going to say, have you ever been high enough to see? What I mean? I've been in a plane many times. What's funny is I have been in a plane and I have looked outside and I've gone, looks pretty flat to me. Looks pretty damn flat to me. I've been on several plane flights recently. And of course, I always look out and I go, damn, I really don't see a curve. I really don't. Now, do I believe that the earth is a globe? Yes, I do believe that we live on a globe. Um, can I prove it? I can't prove it. I also can't prove that it's flat. So, there's that.
so my thing is they're so obsessed with trying to figure out how to get us to Mars. Why wouldn't we test run this on the moon? Like setting up the domes and everything they're talking about setting up and trying. Why would they not be like, we're going to test this on the moon? It's much closer. Nope. Nope. We're shooting for one of the farthest points we've ever been.
I've had some questions about the moon too, like, and I'm sure these can be answered very easily by somebody a lot smarter than me. But when you look at the moon, you see impact craters on the front side of the moon facing
Yeah.
us. Very interesting to me because I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of impact craters on that moon, and they missed us. I'm like, that's a lot. Like, That poor moon. You know, it's like,
that moon's taking some hits for us,
dude, it
for
is like a
sure.
drive by. Like that moon's the one that jumps in front of you when you're about to get shot and takes the bullet for you.
But I mean, yeah, the like I just cannot understand why, for the life of me, why they're so obsessed with getting us to Mars when the moon's much closer and would be a much safer, I guess would be the right word, test. In theory, I'm just saying.
Have you seen these interesting? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. In the sky, and it's supposedly SpaceX stuff, like the big blue swirly marks in the sky. Have you seen the pictures of that stuff?
Yeah.
Do you believe that's stuff from the rocket launches?
Yes and no. I mean,
It looks super sketchy to me. It would be easy to see something crazy like that and be like, "Oh, that's some SpaceX rocket, fuel," you know. And I'm looking at it going, "That looks alien as to me. Like, that looks alien, more than alien can be."
I mean, you got the theories. I'll agree there. I mean, we've either been a bunch or we've never been at all. I don't I it's I know that makes me sound wishy washy, but it's one or two things. It's either we've never been, or they've tested the technology and they can do the domes, and that's why they're so much in a hurry to get to Mars instead.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Space travel just freaks me out. It really does. Um,
I
I
just want
don't.
I just
I
want my
don't.
lightsaber. That's all I want. Just give me my lightsaber and let me move on.
Did you see?
Oh yeah.
Totally off topic.
Oh
You
yeah.
you saw the finale.
Oh yeah.
Was that not the most epic battle? Like, I my little Star Wars dork inside of me was like, dude, hoorah the whole time.
Bruh,
I
I
loved
was
it.
yelling at the TV
God, it was amazing.
when those two were duking it out, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god!"
it was the most epic battle. I've waited years, decades.
And then for them to give us the "hello there," I was
Yeah,
like, "Yes."
yeah. I was actually out of a lot of the shows that I've ever watched, I was more disappointed when that was over because I was like, oh man, that was so good.
Six episodes. That's all they gave us.
God, 6 episodes of pure fire. Um,
So fun fact: Hayden Christensen said he would come back to acting
really?
to do the Darth Vader comic series into
Oh,
a
really?
show. Yeah.
Oh man, that would be fun. I remember being in middle school and high school and like having Star Wars be my little secret because like back then you were a friggin' nerd, and I was like,
Oh man.
but I like Star Wars.
Imagine being like a 6'3" anime fan in the South.
Oh man, you had a rough, bro.
It it was a hard time, my man. It was a hard time. She thought I was gonna say I had like a secret family or something, and I was just like, I watch anime, and she goes, "Oh, that's it." I was like,
She breathes a
devastating. Yeah,
sigh of relief.
I'm like devastating stuff. I know, but
That's hilarious.
that's where we're at. But no, I mean, yeah, it's nerddom has come a long way, and I'm very happy in the direction it's going.
How do you feel about this is a segue into this next video. How do you feel about the Alien versus Predator and the Alien videos and or movies and the Predator movies? How do you feel about those? Fan? Not fan?
I tolerate the Alien movies.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just classics. I mean, that's my cinephile
Yeah.
coming out. Is they're just classics.
Sure.
I think Predator is a much more compelling story.
Yes.
Um, Especially with their Hulu movie getting ready to come out called Prey.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, Alien. It's just I don't know, man. I tolerate it, but I mean, like the Alien versus Predator movies left a lot to be desired. But I think the Predator movies themselves are much more compelling.
Okay. Um Now let me. This is also a segue into this next video. So that's a little prep for you,
Okay.
mostly on the predator side of things.
Okay.
Have you seen the I know that you're familiar with Missing 411. Have you seen the one called The Hunted where they talk to hunters and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, let me play this video. So this video is set in the woods, and one of the premises to this video was that when it was shot, they wouldn't have had the technology. Somebody like you and me wouldn't have had the technology to fake this video.
Okay.
Okay, it's really grainy, hard to see, but I think you'll be able to make out what you're seeing, and I believe there is audio to this. Super compelling to me. I don't know what I would do. This would be scarier for me to see than Bigfoot, to be honest. So check this out.
Okay, guys, so this is one of the more conclusive videos I've ever found. It's from Missing 411. I'll leave a link back to his video, but it's circulated all over the internet. And I just want you guys to watch this and observe this creature, whatever it is, because we've heard stories about other cloaked beings. It sounds like a reptile to me, but I want to know what you guys think. Now, this was in 1997, mind you. So it would be really hard to fake this, and you can tell this is old, grainy footage. Either that or a really, really cheap phone. See this cloak? You see it's moving from the right side of the screen to the left. It's right in the middle right now. There it is. It's fading. It seems reptilian. You can almost hear it hissing.
Right there. Wait. I don't like this. You see that? Right there. Look. Oh my god.
You can hear it hissing at the same time.
That's not an animal. I don't like it.
And you can see its face.
Let me just first say that the ending is complete BS to me. I didn't like the ending. I liked everything until they started screaming and running. That's one video where I'm like, I wish it would have just cut off there and left the mystery. But what do you see? You see something that appears to be cloaked like a predator.
Yeah.
Going through the trees. Now, could this be modern footage that was, degraded purposefully to look old, with some CGI in it? It could be. We can't say that that's impossible. But we have heard stories of people seeing predator-like shit in the woods where it's cloaked. Wood spirits, ghost squatches. Like, I don't even know what to think about that. It blew my mind. I was like, if this is real footage and somebody caught a figure, something cloaking in the wilderness, that is some scary stuff. And if you've listened to any of the 411 stories or anything like that, man, super compelling, dude.
I will say that is some very compelling footage.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, just the sound effects.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was a certain scream used from early Hollywood when they actually had sound effects, and they just retired it like 3 years ago because it was so hard of a sound effect to replace?
I didn't.
So sound effects are very hard to make up, and let alone test and see if it'll actually function in the real world. Like Godzilla 2014, when they were coming out with the first new Godzilla movie. The director and sound effect guy to test their theory for how the sound would travel, set up a huge speaker wall and tested it. and people felt, not necessarily heard, but felt the sound vibrations 3 miles away.
Whoa.
But again, sound effects are very hard to come up with. I've never heard a sound effect like that. And movies are my thing.
Yeah.
I love movies. I love knowing odd little facts about movies and everything. I've never heard a sound effect like that.
So what do you think about the legitimacy of this footage?
Man, I want to believe it. Like, I want
Right?
to say that's some real footage. Like you said, there could be. I mean, video technology is insane right now. Like, on what you can do at home, you can do Hollywood level stuff at home
Yeah.
now. If you got the time and the patience to do it.
That said, I just watched a super compelling. Okay, let me take that back. I just watched a video that to a regular person, if they had seen this footage, if you ran up to a buddy who wasn't into Hollywood or anything like that, and you showed him this footage, what it was somebody driving in a car in California, and they see a giant UFO, and it basically, you know, there's a mothership involved, and it zooms off. As it turns out, I forget what this filmmaker's name is, but he supposedly is responsible for the alien video I talked about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
He also did this video just to prove how easily people could be fooled. Nothing in the video was real. The car inside the car wasn't real. The car wasn't real.
Oh my gosh.
As a car guy, the thing that gave that away was when they opened the door and you get the door ding, 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 ding. That did not sound like any car I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot of car door dings. But so the car was fake. The clouds, the sky, everything in the video was fake. The funny part about it was as soon as I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is BS. This is such horseshit. Like I saw it a mile away. But I was thinking to myself, if you showed this to somebody who was a little bit more gullible, they might fall for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. People can be fooled so easily. I just this footage was very compelling to me. Like I said, I was buying it until the very end. I was like, I don't know if they needed to do the the slide thing where it looks like it's on a projector. Like, I don't know that effect. I didn't.
Well, have you ever
appreciate
seen one of those cameras get dropped? One of those old cameras from back then?
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Oh
It
no, shit.
loses track. It's on a magnetic tape.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's an old VHS tape. Yeah, if that's from '97, they wouldn't have
Yeah.
had digital recording then.
I can never even thought of that. I always thought it was like a kind of like a cliche type thing where
Nope, that's a real. That comes from a real
really.
thing, man. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
it
Well,
would.
now I'm more compelled.
It would have lost. It would have lost track and not been recording correctly. Because yeah, like those old tapes, like they're old little, either the smaller tape, but still a magnetic strip recording to it. It'd be like when you're recording like your mixtape off the radio, and say you bumped your radio while it was recording, you'd have a skip in it.
Hmm. That's true.
Because it messed up the magnetism of that recording.
Interesting. I liked the story of this video, and when I say that, some videos have a good, they're short stories, but it's these people are walking in the woods and they
Yeah.
see this crazy thing with their naked eye. That's the other interesting thing. They were seeing this with their naked eye, and they also caught it on video. See it, and it sounds like we'll assume that it was a husband and wife. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And the husband wants to stay recording it, and the wife is super scared. And she's like,
Yeah.
let's get the hell out of here. And then it appears like the thing starts coming towards them, and then they bail, which, God, I couldn't imagine could you imagine being out in the middle of the woods and then seeing something cloaked like that?
And then it starts to chase you while making that god awful noise.
I would almost start running towards it just so it would kill me quicker. So, like just end it. Like, I know I'm not getting away from you. I've seen how these movies end. I'm gonna end up tripping and like.
Just make sure you scream. Just make sure you scream Valhalla as you run at it.
Like I seriously would. I don't want to trip, fall face first, turn around, and have the thing right on top of me. I'd rather just run at it and just accept my fate.
I mean, shit, probably confuse it and just be like, "Whoa,
That's never happened before. I've killed hundreds, you guys. Yeah, just Oh man, there's just so much we don't understand. And when I hear things like Skinwalker Ranch and things like that, they talk about creatures like this or things like this happening. Um, on the Missing 411 thing. He says this is from Missing 411. I don't remember seeing this footage on the Missing 411 documentary. I
I
remember hearing a story about it
there's
and a
several
reenactment.
there's several different documentaries, and I don't remember seeing. The only one I've seen is the hunted one.
Yeah, and the lady talks about seeing this thing in the woods.
Yeah, but I don't
She's been
remember
like,
the footage.
I don't remember seeing the. I remember a reenactment. I don't remember this. I could be completely wrong. Oh wait, no. I think she recorded something on her cell phone. This was not that footage though. I'm almost positive. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that documentary over again. But regardless, pretty compelling to me,
I will say that one is compelling.
right? That's probably the scare. Like I said, I would rather see Bigfoot because then at least I know, like, you know,
Yeah, you have a decent idea of what you're looking at.
yeah, you have yeah, you have a decent idea. This thing is like, my God. Um, and going back to, it's interesting how this is all falling together. Going back to what you said about movie makers putting these things in movies to go, oh, that's not possible. Like that just blows my mind. And Matt and I really don't talk too much about the videos that I basically decide which videos come up here, and that's just the way the show's happened. Matt sends me videos, I grab some videos, and I just throw up whatever I feel will bring on some fun conversation. So with Matt having said what he said earlier in the show, it just when he was saying that, I got butterflies in my stomach because I was like, oh, he's gonna love this. I was like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be
So
great.
I mean, touching on that, like, because I had somebody ask me about that of like, do I write out my reviews of the video? No, I have no idea what Chris is gonna pick. I what you guys hear me say about these is my initial gut reaction, is my initial thoughts, my initial reaction. I don't plan it out. All of these videos, I haven't seen a single one of these. You're getting my initial pure reaction.
Yeah, only the last two are Matt. Now that I look in them again, the last two Matt has sent me. Um, the last one, that one gave me the creeps. You'll know as soon as I start playing it too. It's the longest one we have today. But that last video, I thought that was man, that really made the hair on my arm stand up in the back of my neck. I was like, God, that's creepy, dude. Man.
Like I said, sound effects are hard to make. Like, see, I come back to Godzilla because I'm such a Godzilla movie fan.
Mm.
The first Godzilla roar they did, from 1954, uh, it was made by laying a cello down with the strings loosened a little bit, and they wore a heavy glove and rubbed it along the strings,
Oh, crazy.
and that's how they made the roar. So I mean, to get that kind of sound effect from 1997,
Interesting.
there was nothing movie wise making that kind of sound effect.
What's creepy to me about it all is you have the instances when you're in the woods and you feel like something is watching you.
Yeah.
Yet you look around and you can't see anything. If something that was cloaked like that stood absolutely still, much like we suspect Bigfoot does when humans are around, it stands absolutely still and blends into its environment. Like that scares the living hell out of me. Now, when I go into the woods, like I'm going to be looking for, because my wife, she got a kayak, right? And somehow I've been conned into getting a kayak too. So now we're going kayaking, I guess.
What I
And a
what I
bunch of our
say?
friends-
What I say? White women.
Yeah, yeah. And now I'm like, I don't want to go to. I want to go to someplace a little bit more remote because you never know what you're going to see. And I actually have. I may get some footage from this place. It's in Washington, northern Washington. It's called Devil's Tower, and I
Okay.
guess the place is just haunted as shit. And the two friends I was with told me, because they've been together since they were teenagers. They told me that they went up there with groups of kids, when they were teenagers, and no matter how tough they thought they were, they got the shit scared out of them. So I was like, I want to go. I'll get some footage. I need some viral footage. So I may go up there and I may disappear.
My wife and I have decided we're going to stay in the most haunted room at the Crescent,
You're
and
kidding me.
we're taking the GoPros.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm so excited for this. What both of us were like, we're never going to a haunted place.
Yeah.
Like, 2 episodes later, we're like, all right, dude.
I'm going to the one of the most famous haunted hotels of all time.
Dude, that is going to be epic. When are you guys doing this?
We don't know yet. Probably when it cools off a little bit, because it is a bit of. I mean, it's built in 1886. I mean,
Man, God, that's creepy. And the thing that creeps me out most is that you're going, Mr. Magnet for the crazy stuff.
oh, I know. I'm really not excited about it, but I mean,
You might get some epic footage, dude. Epic footage.
so no, I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm gonna take both my GoPros. Uh, my new phone showed up, so I'm rocking the iPhone 13 Pro Max now.
Hell yes, dude.
So we're probably just gonna Red Bull and everything and just see what we can get.
Man. Oh, you're not gonna try to sleep?
Mother trucker, I know what's gonna happen as soon as I try to sleep in a place like that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay up. I will sleep when I'm home and safe.
Yeah.
Either
Man.
that, or my wife will cut over to footage of me with like a bundle of sage smoking on my chest while I'm taking a nap.
Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna be good, dude. I can't wait for that. If you get some crazy stuff, I might just have to fly out and stay there myself and see what happens.
Bro, you let me know when you're coming. We'll just go stay together.
Oh God, could you, dude? I'm all holding on to Matt. Stop.
I'm like, you wanted to experience something. Here we are.
Oh, all right. This one I thought was funny. In all honesty, I haven't watched the whole thing. I was laughing too hard when it started because I thought of exactly what we were talking about earlier.
All right, wait on me.
Let's play this next one.
A number of things that.
Sorry, I'm gonna pull that one off. I'm missing the one that I wanted to play, which was the one with the white lady talking about do not mess with alternate. I don't know why that one didn't come up on here.
Was it the one where she was laying in the pool?
I think so, yeah.
Recording creatures of the fifth dimension?
No. This one was I thought it was a video where she was talking about how scientists are trying to open another dimension or another universe or a parallel universe or something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Don't and do it." That one's funny. So this is completely different. This is another interesting one.
A number of things that I've heard from people in the Pentagon, that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow! Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover-up here, they kind of in whispered tones talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well,
at DezTub, DezTub is who we can credit for that TikTok video. I don't know. It says leaked Pentagon interview. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know.
So you can say anything is leaked anymore, and
yeah,
it could be. But I mean, here's the thing. That's actually been one of the oldest theories out there, is that all the old gods that are mentioned were actually aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of believable because, I mean, like I said about 20 minutes ago, there's Egyptian holy sites in the Grand Canyon in the United States of America, nowhere near Egypt.
100%. So
I mean, it's a plausible theory. It really is. And I feel like, I mean, people are gonna make fun of me for this one, but like Marvel's Thor, where their technology is so advanced it looks like magic to us.
Yeah.
It's highly possible. You know what I mean? I mean,
our technology now would look like magic to ancient civilizations.
Yeah, so I mean, it's highly plausible, but I mean, like, here's a fun one. It's a different kind of theory. So you remember reading in the Bible how some of these guys lived to be like 700 years old?
Yes.
the the theory has to do with the fact that now that at that point in time there was less oxygen. Like when the dinosaurs and everything existed, the oxygen content was a lot higher, and then we went through a phase where it went a lot less, and then it kind of rebounded a little bit. So the theory I heard was, and keep in mind, guys, I'm not a scientist at all. This is just theories I hear, and I kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit. But the theory I heard is that oxygen is actually poisonous to us, and it ages us, like oxidation.
It's an interesting theory.
So the reason that like a lot of aliens don't want to make contact with us is because we're a planet of poison breathers that blow each other up.
Yeah. I mean, we're not exactly. I could imagine an alien race going, "These guys are morons. What are they doing?"
So I mean, but yeah, so like that to me, that was a crazy theory. Was like, because I mean, if you look at in places where people live the longest, it's places where oxygen is thinner, like Tibetan monks. Those guys are living to be like easily 100 with no medical interference.
That's true. I never thought about that.
And they're living up in the mountains. Now it could be they're living unproblematic, drama-free lives, or it could have to do with that oxygen theory. I mean, it's who knows.
Interesting. We're gonna have to look into that a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk to somebody that can get on here and, drop some knowledge.
Somebody get me Dolph Lundgren. That guy's got some PhDs.
Oh man. Oh, Lance Armstrong, I heard, knows some things about some oxygenated blood. That's what I heard. All right. So yeah, I with the ancient alien theory and stuff, with like Eric von Daniken talking about the Anunnaki and stuff. Oh, man, it's very compelling that we were created to be a slave race. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Like if they showed up and said, "All right, guys, time to get to work," I'd be like, "I knew it. Like, time to punch in."
Chris would be like, "I bring my Mopars."
Yeah. I'd be like, "What kind of benefits do you offer? Is there a retirement plan?"
Are we unionized or?
I am a Teamster. It's like Jimmy Hoffa comes down with him.
Jimmy Hoffa's like, "It's a great deal."
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys, before we get into these questions that I want to ask Matt about real quick, because we are getting into the bewitching hour here. It's almost an hour and a half, and we try to keep the show under 2 hours. We do have a 3.5-minute clip here, and it does not have anything to do with aliens. This is a spooky video. I was a little bored at first, then it gets good, and I had some questions. And it, once again, great story. So let's check this out. The premise of this is a guy is in the process of remodeling a house, which seems to be pretty modernized. And then you see a part of the house that clearly shows that the house is old. So let's get into it. Check this out.
Doing this cabinet crown. And I think there's a squatter in this house. I think it's in here. Hello? 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 Anybody here? Hello? Hello? The heck is that? Hello? Who is it?
TikTok underscore paranormal provided us with that amazing footage, which gave me the heebie-jeebies, dude. I got a little
Yeah.
creeped out. The guy, hears some noises, thinks that there's a squatter in this house that he's helping remodel. So he goes looking for the squatter. Doesn't see anything, goes around the house once, and then comes back to the door to the basement that slams shut as he looks at it. He opens the door, there's nothing there, and he seemingly drops the phone, runs down into the cellar, to check it out, and then his phone starts moving by itself and spinning.
Oh, homie, he left the house. No, he ran out the house. He didn't go down that cellar.
Oh, and he came back, and you
He
don't think
came
he
back.
ran?
No, he left the house. He came back for his phone.
Hmm. Interesting. I thought he dropped his phone going, I'm going to go check out and see who the hell's down here.
No,
You think he
he
bounced out and came
oh
back for his phone?
he dropped it and bounced out. He went away from that for sure.
Wow.
No, he bounced out of the house because all that moving you hear isn't him. It's whatever slid his phone across the room. Like if you listen to the end, you hear a bunch of stuff moving around. No, he cleared out. He was out.
Man, I assumed that he ran downstairs to see if there was something down there that was
No,
messing with the lights. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I would have been gone too. I would have been like, well, I'll go find a neighborhood kid and be like, I'll give you $20. You just go grab my phone that's on the floor inside. Oh man. What do you think about that footage, dude? I thought it was
it's
looks real to me.
it's believable.
Believable.
It's very believable. The part that makes it seem real, but also annoys the shit out of me, is the entire time he's recording like this.
Yeah.
Has his phone aimed down. It's believable because if you're walking around looking for something, you're not really worried about holding your phone up like this. You're just gonna have it down. You're recording in case something does happen, but you're not aiming at it. So it annoys me, but it's very realistic.
Yeah. The phone spinning is what got me. I was like, man, the door slamming. I was like, okay, it gave me like an instant creep vibe.
It wasn't the sniffing.
No, I guess there was a little bit of noise after the guy had bailed, huh?
When that phone hit the floor, something got in that phone's face. That's why the focus went in and out, because it's picking it up.
Interesting. There was
and then you could hear breathing or a sniffing noise, or it could have been it trying to work it to slide it.
God, could you imagine the ghost just hits Tinder? It just starts swiping right on that poor guy's profile. Oh man. Yeah, that video creeped me out, dude. There's
No,
a couple things I
it's a
don't like
creepy
about that.
video.
Yeah. Oof. I don't know. Those are all the videos we have for today, but I do have some questions I want to ask Matt. We're going to do a rapid fire here.
Okay.
So, Matt, I think you answered this one already. Are we alone? You said
No.
we'd be foolish to think we were alone. I agree. I think there has to be some sort of life out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if think about this, if we are the only life out there in the eternal universe, how lucky are we? You know what I mean? That we are the lucky. Every day should be sunshine for us. How do you feel about government disclosure? Government telling us about all these studies and stuff that they're doing and how they're moving forward with studying unidentified aerial phenomena.
Makes me question it.
Of course, 100%.
Makes me question it a lot more because why go through all the trouble of denying it for decades?
Yeah.
4 decades to be like, oh, hey, yeah, something that you all think is really sketchy is happening right now. So look at all this over here.
Okay. Ancient sites depicting what seems to be, for lack of another term, aliens, and their knowledge about our planetary systems, which apparently we didn't have the technology. We assume we didn't have the technology to see up into the sky like that back in the day. What do you think about that kind of stuff?
I think there's fact to that. I do. There's something there.
I mean, they didn't just make that stuff up and just happen to be right, right?
Correct.
You know, the pyramids line up with star systems, all over the world. From what I understand, other ancient sites also line up with star systems. So there's something. Our ancient civilizations had a knowledge that we believe was impossible for them to have. To me, there's only one. Actually, there's a couple explanations. One, aliens. Two, they were far more advanced than we believe.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this. This wasn't on my list. Do you believe the government knows the truth about our history and is holding back the truth?
1000%.
So you believe they know?
History is written by the victors.
Okay.
So, and like I covered this earlier, I said this earlier, we are told and shown what we're allowed to be told and shown.
Doesn't that piss you off? It pisses me off. I want to know what really happened.
But at the same time, would knowing make your life better, or would it make your life worse?
It would allow me to think of. I don't know. I think it would definitely make things a little bit more complicated for me in my thought processes.
I don't think we could handle processing it.
I don't think a lot of people could. If you can't handle a guy you don't like being president, how are you supposed to handle finding out that what you've been told your whole life was a lie and our history is far different than you understand?
Bruh, I'm not saying I blindly support any president, but I sure could go for some mean tweets and $1.98 gas.
You said it, not me. I would love some $1.98 gas too. Oh. USOs, unidentified submerged objects.
Man, if I think those are out there, it'd be kind of crazy for them to be able to travel through space and all that fun stuff and interdimensional and think that they couldn't go underwater.
Right? That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say, because I feel the exact same way. Once again, it's like, oh, you think they have that technology and they can't go for a swim? Like, come on, guys. Wouldn't it be interesting if we found out that they needed the water to help power their systems? That would be interesting.
Do you remember the show Sequest?
I don't think I watched that one.
Oh man, it's from the 90s. It's very 90s. But they overcrowding on land, people moved to city domes on the ocean floor.
Interesting.
And so then everybody traveled via highly advanced submarines. Oh man, check it out. It definitely opens up there could be civilizations on the ocean floor.
I mean, there could. It has. It's been the lack of exploration is definitely something that interests me and intrigues me. Um, Space travel. These creatures, I don't believe that they're flying thousands and thousands of light years if they're biological beings. Now, is that possible if they are, some sort of non-biological, like a drone type humanoid or whatever you want to, a drone alien, like
So,
you know what I'm saying?
so that's to assume that this highly advanced race has developed highly efficient space travel, but has not developed a way to move quickly while doing it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's highly possible that we are just seeing drones. But at the same time, man, I think they have faster than light travel, and what would take us years takes them an hour.
They have the ability. I believe they have the ability to manipulate space time. Now the question is would they actually send flesh and blood beings to a potentially hostile planet, or would they send, you know,
Well, look at
drones?
us and scientists. I mean, up until we had drones we could send into places, we sent human beings walking into volcanoes.
It's man, it just there's so many questions. My God, it's insane. I definitely believe they can manipulate space time. I believe there's an interdimensional aspect to all this. I think there's a lot of interdimensional stuff that happens that we don't have any. uh, Us as regular civilians have no grasp on it. I'm sure that there's some sort of government research outfit that is going balls deep on interdimensional travel. I mean, they're talking about remote viewing and stuff. And
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff with remote viewing. I was just watching an episode of the show called Expedition Bigfoot where they had a guy remote view. I don't know if you've seen this episode. It's one of the last episodes on the season, the most recent season. They had a guy remote view, and he basically drew a fence and said, "You're going to find some evidence basically when you see this." And they're out in the woods. The guy's nowhere to be found, and they run across this fence and they find hairs on it. And as it turns out, these hairs um, don't have a, a medalla. I'm trying to think of. I let me. We'll get back to that on another episode. But regardless, this remote viewer saw what they ended up seeing in the woods, which I thought was crazy. Could it have been set up? Yes, but I don't know. I've seen too many instances of remote viewing where I was like, God, that's pretty crazy that by chance they would come up with that. And the government has studied it.
Yeah, the men who stare at goats.
Yes, I when the government starts getting involved in things, I mean, MK Ultra, we're gonna have to talk about that sometime. Man, there's just so much stuff to talk about. Your head could spin. Um, do you believe that we have recovered alien craft and have reversed engineered it?
I don't want to say we recovered.
Okay.
I believe we were given the technology because if you look, technology exploded from like in like the late 50s
Mm.
rolling into the 60s and 70s. Technology exploded to when, I mean, even for our generation, we like a
Yeah.
landline in a car was huge. A home computer was, you are rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we have computers we carry in our pockets that it would used to take a computer the size of 3 rooms to even process the bare minimum that these things can process. So I think we've been given technology. I believe there are things that are wanting us to catch up quickly. So they are spoon feeding us to help us catch up quickly.
Interesting. Interesting theory. Um, I don't know. I kind of believe that we found some stuff, and I think we didn't know what the hell was. I think we tried, and we were having a lot of difficulties, and I think they intervened somehow, some way. I think we recovered the stuff as we. I don't think. I think the government, as far as knowing our history on this planet, I don't think they knew it all along. I think they've slowly uncovered things, and the more they uncover, the more they learn, the more powerful they become.
Yeah.
especially if ancient civilizations were highly advanced. I think as they uncover the secrets of the ancient civilizations and possibly alien beings, I think that I think they're like, wow, this is too good to release to the public. We need to keep this all for ourselves.
Well, I mean, I've sent you the videos on cities below cities.
Yes.
So I mean,
I don't
there's
know. There's
there's
too
no
much stuff.
telling what's below us. You know what I mean? There's nothing. There's,
100%.
but again, I'm huge on Hollow Earth, so like
Yeah, I can't wait to get it. Maybe that's our next one. Maybe we'll talk about Hollow Earth.
maybe I don't know,
Yeah,
man. Like we got a lot. We got so much we can talk about.
yeah. It's almost like we put up a wheel and we spin it. What's the next? What's the next topic we talk about? um. All right. Government facilities. It's often talked about that there are secret government facilities in which we actually, I don't know, coexist or work with aliens, like the Dolce base
Yeah.
in New Mexico. It's said that there was a huge fallout between human beings and aliens, and there was a little mini war that broke out underground. I've heard of that. Um, you got sites like Area 51, S4, um, and all these government sites that apparently have a lot of alien stuff going on in them.
Well, have you heard the Area 51's a decoy site? They let us know about that one, so we'd be distracted by it.
I kind of heard ideas like that. Yeah, what have you heard?
That's just what I've heard. Is that it's a decoy that they let us know about that one. That way, we'd be distracted by it, and not looking for any of the others.
Yeah, I believe the government has some underground facilities that would blow our minds,
Oh, I'm sure.
where we'd be like, "Oh my god, like how did they build that and we didn't know about it?" Um, do you believe that we've recovered alien bodies?
Yes.
That do you believe anywhere alive when we got them?
Yes, I believe not even necessarily like a refugee kind of thing, but like we didn't shoot them down, but they had an accident,
Yeah,
and we tried to intervene due to the fact that we were trying to stay on somebody's good terms.
yeah, man. There's just so many questions that we don't have concrete answers to, and it bothers me. It really does because I want to know. I want to know. Selfishly, I want to know the secrets. Like, I just like if they could just tell us, hey, we found out we're not alone. We don't know anything. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. We didn't want to tell you and freak you out, but we're not alone in the universe. And there are intelligent beings, and they somehow have been able to get here, and we're working on figuring it all out. I wonder what would happen if they said that. What would society do? Would society
Meltdown.
crumble? You think so?
Yep.
You really think society would melt down?
With how much faith the general populace puts into the government anymore, and the government says we don't know about anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Society is melting down.
Oh man. Do you
Man,
think do you think we'll see a higher level of disclosure moving forward, or do you think we're just basically going to get spoon fed BS that just keeps our beaks wet?
I think the more, because I mean nobody even paid attention. Like it wasn't even a blip on social media really when they started releasing all this stuff
Yeah.
and saying it was true. So I think that now that they've seen that people aren't really going to pay that much attention to it because they feel like it's a distraction, which it very well could be. I think we will get a little bit more direct responses and informed on things, mainly just due to the fact of they're like, I guess they can handle it. But I mean, like I said, if they came out and just flat out said, we don't know, they're here and we don't know, man, it would just be bad. It would be so bad.
What would you have to see to believe 100%, 1000% that aliens have been here or are here right now? You'd have to see one, right?
I mean, it wouldn't take a lot to convince me, really, since I already believe they are here.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, absolutely, I would love to meet one on friendly terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, I mean, just for the validation.
Yeah.
Um,
I wanna believe, but I have to see, and I don't trust the government enough to where if I did see a flying saucer, I couldn't look
I
at it.
would.
I don't even know if I trust an alien if they landed on the they talk about landing on the White House front lawn. If they landed and an alien came out, I would still go, "I don't know if I believe this."
I mean, it would honestly. The makeup is just too wild anymore, man. Special effects are just too wild. I mean,
Could
you'd
you
have to.
imagine they do could you imagine they do come down, land on the White House lawn, and Biden comes out to meet them? They're like, "Who is this retard?" Like, what? Like, I can't oh, man, that would be the train wreck of all train wrecks. Oh, God. Even Trump would have been train wrecked, but at least he could somewhat talk.
Oh man, he'd been like, "We're gonna make a huge deal. It's gonna be huge. Gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best time you've ever seen. Great work. Great work." I mean, it would have been. It would have. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Who would you want to meet them when they first got here? I mean,
God,
in all honesty, I can't think of anybody high profile enough that I'd be like, yeah, that guy could meet him and we'd be all right. Or
that
that
is an
lady.
amazing
I don't know any celebrity or
that
politician or anybody that I'd be like, we're good with that person meeting them and we're gonna be okay. Nope, not a one.
man, that's a great point. I never really thought about that. Who would I want?
The only
Man.
thing I could think of would be Dazed and Confused Matthew McConaughey rolling up in his Chevelle, being like, all right, all right, all right. You know what I mean? I think we'd be okay there. But besides that, man, I can't think of a single high profile individual. I'd be okay.
I went
Maybe Degrassi Tyson. Maybe Neil Degrassi Tyson.
I don't trust him. I don't trust
Look, you
that guy.
can't trust him, but I mean, I'm just saying.
I would could you imagine if they're like, "We need somebody to interview this alien." It turns out he speaks English. I would love to see him sit across from Joe Rogan as Joe Rogan's hitting the weed. He's like, "Hey, you guys have this on your planet?" And then instead of Elon Musk taking the hit, it's an alien taking a hit. Oh man, that's just me being funny.
Oh no,
I
I mean, you know what? I think that'd be the most honest interview. Mo Parley with your island boys, get the hell out of here.
yeah.
I mean, that'd be funny because I mean they'd be vaporized in a heartbeat. But
Good God, I just don't know. Like, man,
wouldn't it be funny if the island boys were like their kids that ran away from home, being old dipshits, and they came to get them?
I would actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I would love it if the aliens came down and took over our airwaves and said, "We're going to be in full control of how we present ourselves because your government has been lying to you." Because if they have that technology, they could just, you
Oh
know,
yeah, like what was it? Superman, Man of Steel.
yeah. If they could take, they
They
just
did.
need to
They
be able
took
to,
over every airwave and
yeah,
instantly translated
yeah.
and said their message. I think that would probably be that would
That's
be
the
what
best.
got me. That would be what got me is if the same
They would have to do
message.
that. Yeah, they would have to do that. Especially if they admitted your government is full of shit. Do
If they
not believe
opened
what
with
they
that,
say.
I would be like, "This is real."
Yeah, if they said your government cannot be trusted, and we were worried that if we went to them, that you know that would be amazing. Like, and I don't know if I believe that they would have a truce with the government unless they were nefarious. That's the only because I don't. I think the government's nefarious, dude. I don't trust them. I mean, I think there's some patriots within the government, but I don't think there's enough. I think there's too much dark shit that goes on.
Too many career politicians, man. You can't stay in something that shady for that long and still come out that you're fighting for the people.
Yeah, 100%. So, are we alone? Matt and I say, no, we are not. Do we believe that aliens have visited Earth? I say yes. Matt, I believe you say yes.
I do say yes.
Do we believe that the government has recovered alien spacecraft? I say yes. Matt says that we were given, which could be true. We don't know. Um, if we were given anything, it's only because the alien. Like, I don't know if I would even trust that. If I was the government, like, I'd be a horrible president at this point because I'd be like, I don't know if we can trust them, guys. I mean, they came this far, they could really end our shit if they wanted to. Like, I don't know, dude.
Like, listen, fellas,
Mhm.
I think this is the end of the road for us.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get off here, did you look at that Sir No Face footage I sent you?
As a matter of fact, I did. What did you think about it?
Oh, dude, I watched the whole movie.
You
They have a
did?
they have a whole movie, like 2 hours, built around them capturing that footage.
Really? Is it super good? Because
Oh,
I have the video pulled up ready in queue.
let's show it. Let's show it.
All right, let's end on this. I do want to ask you guys, while we watch this video, Matt Z, Aaron, Dutch, if you're still here, Mo Parley, I want to know in the chat with a simple yes or no. Do you believe that aliens have visited our planet or are here right now? Yes or no in the comments while we play this video. I will share the screen here. Simple yes or no. I think I have it up here. Yeah. While we watch this super compelling video. Compelling, dude.
Oh man, so like, if you actually watch the movie and they get to that part, so stinking compelling. It's probably some of my favorite evidence I've ever seen. Mo Parley, I would say yes, they probably would need some of our resources, but I think they would need some of our resources that we wouldn't even think about them needing.
Mo Parley says yes. Matt Z says yes. Aaron, waiting on you, buddy. I don't know if you're still in the chat. Oh, doesn't look like he's in the chat. I think he's gone too. Um, Thank you guys for joining us once again on Talking Paranormal. We always have a good time here, and we want to hear your stories. So if you have a paranormal story, experience, or just want to drop us a line, you can do that by emailing story@talkingparanormal.com. And if you have something compelling enough and you want to come on the show, we'll give you a few minutes to tell your story. That'd be a lot of fun. Um, Mo Parley, no, I will show him those pictures. They're amazing. Um, we got sent some pictures from sanitarium.
Sanitariums are a crazy
I'm sure
place.
you've heard of this one. It's called Waverly Hills.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't fully prepared um, to show those, but I'll send them to you, Matt. There's some good stuff. So thank you for sending us those. I will let Matt check them out. There's some good stuff. So
Are they of the giant? Is the giant man in one of them?
no, but when I saw the pictures, it creeped me out. So I was like, whoa.
Bring them
So
on. Yeah, send
very
those to
interesting.
me.
I'll get those over to you. We'll bring them up on the next show and talk about them a little bit. But that's Talking Paranormal. Um, you know, we try to make the show as fun as possible without taking ourselves too seriously because there's so many people that do. And it's fun just to, throw around some theories and ideas and just talk about what we've heard, what we've seen, and what we think. It's a lot of fun. And we both hope that you all enjoy it. Um, we've gotten some good feedback so far. If you have any suggestions or anything like that, like I said, story@talkingparanormal.com. And we, you know, Matt, I know I speak for both of us. We want you guys to be involved, and we encourage you guys to engage with us. And we appreciate you guys showing up in the chat um, and helping us move the conversation along. And we're gonna keep going. And Matt, I think we're gonna have to sit down and talk about like line up some subjects. That way
Okay.
we can wet these guys' beaks because there's a lot, and we're flying by the seat of our pants, folks. And this is a lot of fun. Um, but we're in this for the long haul.
Oh, there's so many different topics we can cover that. I mean, I think I threw out 10 different rabbit hole theories that would be episodes in
Yeah,
this episode alone.
100%. And we need to start writing this stuff down. Um, The oxygen theory, that's a good one. I want to, once we start getting people on the show to talk to us about this kind of stuff and kind of, give us some educations about what they believe, it'll be interesting because I can't wait to ask questions. I love asking questions.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's going to be so fun. But that does it for today. We almost went 2 hours. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. Central. I am Chris Albrecht.
I'm Matt Monroe.
And that was Talking Paranormal. Thank you very much. We'll
Good
see you
night.
next week.